Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today, we are actually going to start running all of our radiant and all of our foam and putting it down so that this is completely ready for concrete. There are a few things we need to do first. We needed to make sure that our plumbing was in and is good. It is so good. It's nice and buried. I did bring in a little load of gravel, so we're going to throw a little bit of gravel out just in a few little low spots, and then we can start laying our foam board down. There are a few steps for the foam board. The foam actually works as our vapor barrier because of the type of foam we got, but we do need to tape the seams. Now, because this is a shop and not a dwelling where somebody's going to be living, we don't have to do all of that extra work. It's not quite necessary. This can just be a shop, but I really want this room and this area to feel as comfortable as possible. I do want to state that we are working with Radiantec on this project. I purchased everything from them, and what is cool is you send them your dimensions of the building. I said this is what it is. I gave them actually the print of the building so they had even more detail to work with, and then they do the layout for me. They tell me what size of pipe they want to use. They tell me how many zones they want to use. They tell me exactly what I should do, and then they ask me if this is what I want. Bucket, don't scrape the ground so much because now you're digging into the hill, so lift your bucket up a little bit. Now that we've got this leveled really well, go help him grab some of those shovels and bring them over here so they're not in our way. Lincoln, you go grab that rake, bring it over here as well. We're going to clear this floor area off so that we can do foam from this door over, and then we'll start working our way out of here. I think that's kind of the best route to go. Yeah, I like that. Put that down. How's that reading? Pretty good. That's pretty good. Actually, that's fantastic. It has been so nice having the boys help me, especially having an operator. That is really nice because normally I'm in and out of the tractor and doing the leveling. So that felt good to get that. We are to a point where we can start laying down the foam and taping now. So Code, get a few rolls of tape, or get a roll of tape. Let's get it opened up and follow along with me. Okay, it is like 6 o'clock on a Friday. It is starting to get hot. The evening sun starts to come in and it gets really hot over there. It's nice in here, but we are calling it a day. That's a big day. We got 2/3 of the shop laid out, almost 2/3. This goes pretty fast tomorrow. This only took us like, what, 45 minutes to lay that out? Yeah, maybe an hour?
Had to go into town, run a bunch of errands.
Well, yeah, we had a lot of prep work today that took some time, but just laying out the foam, which is all we have to do over here, was really quick. And then tomorrow we're going to finish the foam and we'll do the radiant. So that's going to be awesome. After what was a brutal night of rain and thunder, it was so much that it sent off the door alarm. Like the door thought somebody was at the house.
What?
Yeah, Mom got a shot of it. So it's actually really cool. So lightning strikes right as the door's on. But you can see things got really wet outside. We got minimally wet inside, but my biggest worry was this stuff is like a kite. It's so lightweight that a slight breeze really could just pick it up and I thought we were gonna have a pile of it over there. So really lucky. I think we're just gonna keep moving forward. It'll stay dry in here. We'll just work from this end and come forward.
How about we just get this done?
No, because we gotta walk across everything. So you wanna work your way out. And that's all good over there. We know we're dry over there. We'll just keep working over there. And then we will get to over here and kind of square this up. Because we got a little bit of this rock we've got to clean up. On the screen, or on the camera, it looks like it's really level, but it's not. There's just a little bit of here and there we got to move around. Not much, but we'll make it nice. We also need to get more tape. So that's something also.
Have 2 more rolls after this.
You have that and 2 more rolls?
I think so.
Yeah, I think there's only 1 in there. I have been waiting for this day for a long time. I have had these Radiant boxes just kind of taking up space because I knew I had to wait for this shop to be done. And I'm excited. I'm excited to show you some cool stuff about it. Okay, we are down to putting in our last few pieces. We ran out of tape, so we'll go grab some more tape. But now we're to this point where we've got to prep this as well. And the concrete is going to go to the outside of the building so that it sits over top of this threshold so it's nice and fluid. And in order to do that, we've got to dig all of this dirt from the ramps that we had in here. And that's kind of a bummer to do because you're digging in between a rebar. But we need to expose that rebar and get down to the concrete because that's what we need our new concrete to bond to. So digging through that kind of stinks, but I figure the best time to do this is right now so that we're not doing it with all of our foam next to it. The entire floor is down and we are ready to start laying all of that 5/8 inch pipe down on here. These are the manifolds that have come and they have all of the zones and connections that we need set up in them already, which is really great. So now we're going to follow our layout, and our layout actually is provided by Radiantec, which is one of the reasons I went with them because they do free layouts for any system they're designing or putting in. And then there's also 24/7 tech support, and you have a lifetime warranty on all of the pipe that you get from Radiantec for the life of the building. So that's pretty cool. Those are some really nice features. What is great is that you can call and get tech support, and you're going to be talking to an individual at the company, not just a tech support company who's like a middleman for Radiantec. They're actually an employee of the company. I think that's really cool. So we're going to start following our layout, and this system sets over here. Now, this isn't a hard, fast kind of rule. It's just a guide. And you're going to follow it most of the way, but this isn't shown in there, so we just got to work our way around that a little bit and just work our way through all of this stuff. It's going to go really quick. Cody, what was your question you just asked?
What does this pattern have to do with the heat?
With the
Or
heat?
like, why do we have to do this pattern?
Well, the pattern is what's designed by Radiantec, luckily. But what they do is water has to come in, or glycol, whatever you're putting in, has to come in, and then it has to have an exit as well. So you have to fill the space, and you work from the outside in is typically the way they do it. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that all of the lengths need to be relative to the same length. You can't have one that's like 30 feet long and one that's, say, 400 feet long or as long as the spool is, because they won't heat evenly. So their pattern keeps everything relative lengths and it fills the area, which is why we do 2, not zones, but 2 different sections here, 2 manifolds, because that breaks everything down into similar lengths. If not, you'd have to have big lengths and small lengths and it wouldn't heat evenly. So to answer your question, Cody, their layout and plan is so that it heats even. You don't have hot spots because we don't want hot spots. Okay, one thing we found is when you have a long run, what I do is have the kids hold it where it's gonna be at that end, and then I pull it tight with my foot here, get the kind of length set. What's we stuck on? We're stuck on something. Some tape, there we go. Okay. And then I just kind of pull it taut with my foot, and then Cody just makes his way down. Makes it a little easier to pull these long stretches all the way out at first, and then go back and staple them rather than trying to staple a few feet at a time. It keeps things a little straighter. That one's kind of on the seam, isn't it? There you go. Okay, let's go one right here, right next to me. The one thing that is nice about the foam is that it goes faster, whereas if you other methods you have to like tie to steel mesh. So you roll out this steel mesh that's 6 inches by 6 inches on center, and that takes a little more time to zip tie it. This is faster. However, your lines are, you know, not as straight. With the steel mesh, when we did the garage, it went on steel mesh and it was like as true as could be. There was no deviation in the arches, in the lengths. It was just perfect because you have that grid system. But this is a better method overall because the insulation will radiate the heat back up. So we get kind of a better system overall. You know you've been unrolling it properly if your sleeve is twisted around your arm. It's just what has to happen. That's why you have to wear a hoodie in the middle of the summer to do this, not bare sleeves. That is one zone all of the way done. I still need to land them into the manifold, and then we'll pressurize it and test it, but that half of the shop is ready to go. We are back to day 3 or 4, I don't know. Let's see, we did plumbing one day, we did leveling and foam another day, and then we did actually laid this down on one day. So I think we're on 3 days so far. We're gonna go to day 4 of laying out our foam. We've got this radiant side all the way done. There's 2 manifolds, one here, and there will be one over here, and they run everything. The reason you have 2 manifolds, if I didn't explain, is because your piping runs can only be so long. I mean, you definitely could make piping long enough to fill this whole thing, but at that point you're looping it and it's not going to maintain a level heat. So the whole point of radiant is to maintain an even heat, and if you have to have too long of a run, it will be really, really hot at the beginning and then cold by the time it gets back, and you don't want that. You want it to be kind of a little even. It will be hotter at the start than it does at the finish, but you don't want it to be too dramatic of a drop. And you maintain smaller lengths of run and even lengths of run throughout the entire floor. It will maintain that even heat. It is perfect. The kids have had it in the basement and they loved it. So now we're gonna have it here. What I like about radiant heat as opposed to forced air heat, we get very cold winter times, and when you open these big bay doors, those are 14 by 14 foot doors. Once you open that door with forced air, all of the hot air is out. And when you close it, it will take Who knows how long for that forced air to refill this area? If you use forced air, it is the air that is warm, not the building itself, right? So radiant heats up the building so that the air is just relative to whatever the building is. So if you open and close that door, the house isn't going to lose temperature, or the shop won't lose temperature as much. Radiant heat can't be altered that quickly, so it stays more constant. We have a process. Olivia walks the lines with me and sets the dimensions. Cody staples. Boston and Lincoln just kind of stick around to hand us whatever we need to. One of the things we ran into on this last one is it does look pretty uniform, but it's not perfect. Clearly we're close here, not wide enough other places. So what I'm going to do is create a 1 foot gap. This is what it calls out in your spec sheet. When you get all your stuff from Radiantec, they will give you the spec sheet of the layout. So this calls for a 1 foot layout on center. So that's what we're gonna do. I cut this to 1 foot. So this will be our guide. So clearly we were a little close there. So we are going to use this everywhere. Ready? That's your guide. Put one back this way here too. And then let's go, let's do close. Come right here. If you're going to do the turns, what we found is that you have to have them fairly close into the turns and a little extra, because the turns will pop out.